Hi, and thanks for joining us. This is Industry Insights, part of the Remi Network. Please go ahead and subscribe. We have amazing interviews across a wide array of great topics with great guests. Today, no exception. Go ahead and hit the subscribe button and even the notification button if you're watching on YouTube, and we'll let you know when a new one is ready to go. Here we go. Let's do this if we can. It's not our first meeting. Mark Cohen, thank you so much for joining us on Industry Insights. The last time we talked, I was quite amazed. I learned something every time I do one of these interviews. And what I learned from you that day was the status of buildings over a long period of time with regard to plumbing is a massive overhaul job if it's not handled properly, caught at the right time, and a plan is put in place to handle it.
Correct.
This time, it's even sort of more urgent, our discussion, because it seems like whether it's the age of the buildings, maybe there was a spurt of development over a certain period of time, but it seems like there's a bit of an epidemic facing building plumbing in this city.
That is correct. The newest epidemic now is all the buildings that had their piping relined about 10 years ago by 3 companies, and all 3 companies went bankrupt. The lining is failing, and it's causing massive blockages in these units, not only in the domestic water, but in heating and cooling water, which is affecting the fan coils and the heat pumps. Right now, we're working on buildings, and I'm tendering buildings that have to have all their piping replaced because it was never done correctly.
That repiping, did it just come loose?
Yes, so the epoxy has come loose, and what's happened from that is it plugs up all the piping.
Okay.
And the piping has to be replaced now. And currently, we're doing a building, and in 1 year, they spent over $100,000 just in temporary repairs until the building could get repiped.
This sounds like an expensive endeavor. But if you don't do it, what are some of the ramifications?
Well, the ramifications for domestic water is every time a line plugs up, and nights, weekends, people don't have their showers, or it's affecting their shower faucets, and faucets are dripping and leaking also. And they have to call us in to cut out sections of piping. They have to repair walls, repair the piping, replace sections. And it's constant costs every time. And if faucets are dripping and running out of it, then they have the added cost of paying for water and sewage. Because alongside that.
Because it's constantly, you've got constant output.
Correct.
What should boards of directors of various buildings do when it comes to thinking about a piping company to handle this? What are some of the thoughts they should have?
So anytime I'm approached on it, I always say to them, who's your building engineer? It's best to have an engineer involved. This way, nobody can ever say management is bringing in their favorite people, or the president of the board or one of the board members is bringing in their favorite people. The engineer for the building will call in the people that they feel should be on the list to repipe the buildings, and they'll also ask management who they would like to see, and it's kept as an honest tender.
Jermark has a vast history. You guys are constantly busy, I know, in the GTA. What percentage of your work right now is solving these kind of problems?
So I have a crew of dedicated of 25 people, and all they do is repipe buildings. And we do everything in-house, right from the plumbing to the drywall to the painting to the tiling, any carpentry that has to be done. They're all full-time in-house employees with no subcontractors at all. And we do everything perfectly. And my foremen are loved. At every job we go to, we have reference letters, and people are really happy.
I noticed that the feedback is always very positive for you guys, and I think that has to do with thinking of not just the building owners, property managers, and the board, but also the residents themselves. What do you do to make sure that everything's okay for the residents in this process?
So what separates us from all my competitors is I have one fellow that runs the job site, and he insists on meeting each and every resident 1 week prior to entering their suites. He walks through their suites with them, shows them where we're going to be working, explains the project to them. If they have some heavy furniture that needs to be moved, he sees it, he arranges to move it for them to help them out with whatever they need. We supply plastic for people to cover their personal belongings with. And my guys are the most polite and respectful employees and plumbers or tradesmen you'll ever have in your house. And that's made us the #1 company in the city.
It's amazing, but if you talk to anybody with a successful company in almost any industry, the first thing they'll tell you is, my people do this, and we're the best because of them. That speaks volumes, I think, about Jermark in the big picture.
For sure, for sure. My employees are great. Majority of them have been with me anywhere from 10 to 33 years. They're great at what they do, they take pride in it, and they're happy. You know, I go every Friday, I buy them lunch, and I go and have lunch with them most Fridays. And the respect level I have for them, they show it in return. Wow. And that's why we get along so well.
Mark, thanks for speaking to us. Mark Cohen from Jermark, the plumbers that are solving an epidemic. Speak to your engineer and get in touch with Jermark. And certainly join us next time. Oh, the article, by the way, there's an article in throughout the Remi Network in Condo Business and a number of publications. Go to reminetwork.com and you'll find out more about what we're talking about today. And please join us again right here on Industry Insights. We'll see you next time.